Greetings and welcome to an LGR thing. I did not plan on recording today, but here we are anyway. I guess let's talk about The Sims 4. Even though, if you've been here a while, I'm not necessarily terribly fond of that particular entry in the series. After 10 years of it being around, it has its positives for sure. There's a lot of things to like about it. There's a lot of things that I just think that starting fresh with a new entry would make a better Sims game. And well, apparently that's not happening. Because the other day, this article in Variety pops up saying that there is no Sims 5 coming and EA is making a multiplayer expansion to the franchise and starting to sell custom content made by creators in the community and a bunch of other things. And I was just looking at all this and just thinking, wow, what the heck? And not only are they not acknowledging too much in an official capacity, the 10 years of this franchise, no big celebration or events or anything, but here they are saying that, there's not even going to be a sequel. It's going to be The Sims 4 ever, I guess. And it's just going to keep going in some form, evolving and growing endlessly. And I'm so tired, man. I'm so tired. And I was thinking about doing a 10-year overview of The Sims 4 last month because however many years ago, I guess 8 now, I did a video titled The Sims 4 2 Years of Meh, something like that. And I was just sort of putting my thoughts out there of where I thought the newest entry of the game was at that point and what I was hoping for or was disappointed by and was just all those thoughts, right? Well, another 8 years have passed. The game is still going and no signs of stopping. It's apparently the most popular one in terms of the number of active players, and kind of no surprise they made the game free to play. I don't know. My point is I'm in two minds of a lot of things related to this franchise, The Sims 4, previous Sims games, covering these things, and just like this kind of stuff on LGR in general. So I just need to get some thoughts out there. Hope you're along for the journey. Because the timing is just interesting with all these anniversaries and me happening to be covering The Sims 2 or working on this retrospective was taking longer than I thought. But going back to this is really giving me some interesting perspective and just, conflicted feelings about where we've come from, where we might be going. And you know what? I just don't know what to really do about covering this because I've said it several different times in different ways on the internet before that I'm very much tired of The Sims 4 in its current form, and mostly in all of the endless expansions. Like, I don't even know how many, 15, 16, 17 full-priced $40 expansions, plus all of the stuff packs and game packs and kits and whatever the heck else they're putting out there. I guess now they're going to start selling mods. It's a lot. And so I stopped covering all of that stuff because honestly, it wasn't good for my mental well-being and I was just tired of it. I don't really want to do all of that. So I check in every so often to do an expansion review and that's about it. But for years now, I've thought that for sure there would be a proper full-on built from scratch, more modern, impressive sequel. That had to be in the works, right? Guess not. And the reasoning for this is baffling, and yet at the same time I get it from a business sense and I feel gross for kind of understanding it. So anyway, according to this Variety article and many others at this point, but it started there, they said that The Sims 4 will continue to receive updates and paid expansions for who the heck knows how long. And they're expanding what they're going to be doing with the franchise in general, but also the way that you play in 4. This person at EA says they're not working on a replacement. As with previous versions, they're only going to be adding to our universe. With that, you'll see there are more ways to experience the blah, blah, whatever. So the reasoning behind this seems to be money. Of course, it's a big old business. They gotta please them shareholders. They say we'll continue to bring HD simulation experience and what people would want from a 5, but it doesn't mean that we're going to start you over, reset all your progress, and really, dang it, ads. Oh, the website just went away. Screw you, Variety. Anyway, they basically said that because putting out a new entry would not be compatible with all the previous content, that they don't want to do that. They're so concerned for the players. They don't want to reset everything. They just want to keep it going forever. And I think that's just ridiculous. As if, we didn't go through that with Sims 2 and 3 and 4. Like, that's kind of expected for video games. That's normal. This is not like some new thing. I don't know. I don't know what that is supposed to mean other than they're just trying to say that they want to keep the train rolling because they're making tons of money. And why would you stop now? And, I get that. Like, it's a corporation. That's what they're going to do. I don't know. It was just annoying. Just the way that they phrased it. Like they're doing us all a favor by not releasing a sequel or canceling a sequel or whatever they did and just continuing the current iteration because it works well enough. And we've got so many creations. Yeah, it's different because it has been going for 10 years. I know. That is a lot of stuff to start over with. And there are pitfalls and perils to just dropping all that you had, this community, and then starting over with a new thing. Like, what happened with City Skylines 2 not too long ago? City Skylines 1 is still the stronger game in many ways, and there's just so much for that first one, and then starting all over with a second game that was kind of iffy. Yeah, like that's the risk, but that's kind of how video games be. And there are so many possible good things, very good things about starting over that I think will be potentially lost out on if they go down this route. Because it has to do with the engine, right? The core engine of The Sims 4, if you believe the things that have been put out there in the past, was this Project Olympus thing, and it was kind of a multiplayer, Sims Lite spinoff or something, and it eventually became The Sims 4, possibly after the SimCity 2013 debacle with the whole online thing went so badly, and they were like, oh man, we better put this back in the oven and make sure we don't mess it up. And then The Sims 4 came, and it was kind of really lackluster on launch, right? But at least it wasn't an online mess. And so I retweeted that news and kind of put my general disdain for the direction things were going out there. And somebody asked the question, okay, so what would you like to see in a Sims 5 release that you don't think can happen with expansions and updates? And my response was this, okay, what I want to see is an entirely new and optimized game engine, built from the ground up for a more seamless and customizable open world with deeper gameplay that is seemingly impossible using the decade-plus-old Sims 4 engine that was initially meant to be like an MMO. Basically look at what Inzoi is doing, also Paralives. I don't know if that's how you say it, Inzoi, whatever that one is, that interesting looking thing with Unreal Engine 5. Like, using new tech, starting over, there are so many benefits to that, and actually making it so that it's a more fleshed out, interesting, modern, deep, complex, less buggy, seamless type of open world with deep customization, all these integration of all these features that apparently they really want to do and add on to The Sims 4. But I see that it could be a good thing in the sense where, sure, you have all of this gigantic player base and tons of content out there, much of it paid, annoyingly. But, it's out there, and there's a lot of base to build on. But if you're building on a crumbling foundation that's really old and had a lot of cracks and issues to begin with, is it really such a good idea to build an even bigger building on top of that crumbling foundation? I don't know, because to me, I've always seen The Sims 4 as like a stopgap. Or at least I did early on. I really thought that it would be a quick thing and that they would just come out with The Sims 5 in 2019 or something. And then that would be that. But no, they're just going to add on to this and apparently try to, it sounds like, enhance the engine that's already there. And I'm not a coder, I'm not a programmer, I don't know what actually went into this, but to me that just sounds like endless band-aids, And I don't want band-aids, I want a daggum whole new body. And a while back it seemed like that might be kind of happening with the announcement and a little bit of teased footage and information about Project Renee, which a lot of people assumed would be The Sims 5. I personally didn't. The way that they phrased it, put that information out there and then vague information about certain things, it made me think that this is probably going to be like a spinoff or some sort of mobile or hybrid type of game situation where it's a collaborative space to do Sims-like things, or maybe it'll work with parts of another Sims game. I don't know. They were so vague about it, it was hard to tell what it was, but it didn't actually seem like a full-on Sims 5. But it looked interesting, right? There were some fascinating customization features they were showing off and bringing back, like the color wheel and the custom textures and all that stuff that I wanted back from the Sims 3 and 4. Sims 3 in 4. Yeah, that kind of just came and went, and then it seems that is very much its own separate thing at this point, and it's some kind of collaborative thing where it's like you can join and create with other players somehow. Some people on a PC and some on an iPad and some on a phone or whatever, and you can mix and match creations. Don't really know. Who knows what that's going to be, but they are now calling it The Sims Project Renee, not The Sims 5. So that's some other thing. And again, I kind of expected that, but I also thought that maybe there was a chance that it would be a base for a Sims series soft reboot. Like potentially, okay, they're just going to start all over from scratch, and maybe it won't be called The Sims 5, but it'll just be called Sims or something like that. And just sort of a soft reboot, and then, forget all the stuff we've done before. We're going to start over with these new enhanced tools. And in a way, it almost sounds like they're trying to do that, but also like cram it into the Sims 4 code base. And that's what concerns me here. PCGamer.com put it pretty well, I think. They say, it feels like a wild thing to say about a now 10-year-old game where each new expansion produces a slew of bugs as it struggles to cohabitate with the dozens of other DLCs. Although EA did also state that they were updating the core technology of The Sims 4 as part of this plan going forward. And I mean, I wish them all the luck, but see the aforementioned statements on shaky foundations and band-aids, because I don't know. It seems like a lot to put your faith in that kind of product. And that's what it is at this point. It is a product first and foremost, and that's what bums me out the most about this, is because I feel, again, like especially going back to The Sims 2 and playing that again recently for the 20th anniversary video, the heart and the soul, it's there, little hints of it every so often, but it's tied up behind paywalls mostly, or it's just a game that isn't 100% quite what I wanted from the very beginning in terms of going backward, in terms of like all the loading screens and the lack of transportation and more open-ended customization and the deeper details that you could really get from The Sims 3 and 2 even. There's a lot of things in 2 that you just don't get in 4, and just the little touches and animations, details and things. I don't know if you've seen some of these compilations of like The Sims 2 versus 4, for instance. And all of these little loving things that they put in there, just little extra bits of heart and soul. I don't know how else to put it. Like, it feels like a creation by people that really cared. And for years and years and years has felt like nothing more than a product line, like something to sell stuff. And I mean, yeah, that's what it is, but it could also be both. And I like to think I'm not that naive about it. I know that they've got to meet their quarterly whatever the heck, and it's doing extremely well monetarily, and the number of people playing it, especially because it's free to play now, is insane. Like, frankly, it's bigger than it's ever been as a franchise, and they're selling these packs hand over fist, it seems, as evidenced by at least 2 $40 expansions coming out every year, plus all the other packs that I ignore. And, it is what it is. I've accepted that. Or at least I thought I did. And then all this news comes out about 4 going on forever, and it's just to be continued, to be continued, to be continued. Now, I was really, really, really banking on this not lasting very much longer, and at the very least, getting more excited about like whatever the heck Project Renee will turn into, or some of the other games that are coming out from other companies. Life by You's been canceled, but there's still Paralives, and there's Inzoi, and those look genuinely interesting because there's something new and different, and they're made by people that seem to be artists and folk that are creative, that actually want to try something new and fresh and interesting. And while I don't agree with all the decisions being made from what I've seen of those games still in development, I'm still interested to play them and review them whenever they are fully released. And The Sims 4, it just isn't that anymore. And even with all this stuff that they're trying to add, I just don't think that will ever change. And in fact, I don't know how long I'm going to keep this up. Here's the thing. Even if they redo the entire engine, right? It's still The Sims 4. You can make it run perfectly smooth, and all these like loading bugs that I keep running into, or my family will no longer be able to move across from one town to another, or the stuttering, which is constant, and the lag and all that crap, no matter what system I play it on. You can get rid of all that stuff, but it's still The Sims 4. And if you're okay with that content loop, then that's fine. But personally, I see it as an increasingly set of diminishing returns. Like, it's just a bunch of animations doing the same stuff you could kind of already do in a slightly different, more goofy animated way. And it lost its charm years ago for me. And I think it's just, I'm so tired of it. I just don't care. So you could add all these things and it just won't change much for me personally, especially not for wanting to cover it. And there's this other stuff they're talking about adding, like the mods, right? Or custom content, I guess. Bringing on or doing something with creators in the community and having their creations become an official part of the game, which, hey, that's cool. That's great. I hope people are getting paid fairly and well. You know, I doubt they'll be employees. They'll probably be contract workers with zero benefits, and that's probably why they want to do it, because then you don't have to bring on full-time people or pay any kind of, you know, extra things and salaries and all that stuff. You just pay for the content or maybe a slight percentage or something. I don't know. I'm very cynical about Electronic Arts of all companies doing this, but there's other companies that have tried this, and there can be some pretty good results that come from it, and it helps some creators get some money, which can be nice. So again, I just hope people are going to be treated fair whenever that rolls out. I would be interested to see some of the content come along. Like, what is it going to be? Will it be more risky is the wrong word. Adventurous, creative, interesting, out of the box? Maybe. I don't know. But it does, to me, almost seem like a shortcut for Electronic Arts or whoever the heck is making the decisions, the Sims team, to get more content without having to hire any new employees. Same with bringing in people from the community to help squash bugs and figure out through play testing and having people volunteer their time to do that. But you're having people volunteer to be your QA, and like, you should just do that and pay people to do it and listen to them and actually put their stuff into action instead of letting these same bugs fester for years and years and years. There are bugs going back almost since the very beginning of the launch of the game, and they're still in there. And I think it has to do with the code base from what I've read. And it's just, you know, it's like I see potential positives in some way, but so many of these other little, like, our corporate nastiness on the other side. And it just makes me feel gross even engaging with it. I just don't like it. And now they're talking about adding these AI features, right? Which to me just sounds like a reverse image search. And maybe, I don't know, there's some language model in there. But yeah, at this investor meeting after this other story came out, they're talking about, oh yeah, we're going to be adding these features to where players can have an image of a celebrity and be able to find Sims or creations that match the look of that celebrity, for instance. It's a little weird. Or, you know, a picture of a house, and okay, you can just put that in there and find a house that kind of looks like that on the gallery. Or, you know, put in other search terms. Instead of like having the exact tags and typing that out, you can just put in something kind of vaguely like it, and the AI or whatever it is will figure it out and find creations that are more similar to what you're actually looking for, which that could be a good thing. I'm not against that. I'm not against really any of this. I don't know if it's actually, I don't know. When it comes to AI, everything is iffy. And even calling it AI, is it really that? Like I said, it kind of seems like reverse image searching with a little bit of algorithmic smarts behind it, but all that stuff. It just doesn't change how I feel about the core of The Sims 4 for a decade now. And that is, I mean, it's the most accessible, the most easy to play, and just kind of fart around with and have some fun. And the mods are great. Honestly, there's a ton of great mods out there, and if you know what to look for. I mean, there's a lot of good things about it. It's fine. Like, if it were the first entry, man, it'd be an amazing, like, first entry in a life simulation kind of genre. But for the fourth, 25 years into this series, I don't know what they're doing exactly here. Other than it's kind of broke, but why fix it? Because people are still downloading it free to play, and then they're buying tons of add-ons for it. You know, why not continue that and expand it in however way they possibly can? Because the shareholders love that crap. So here's what I've been thinking, all right? Like, I don't want to stop covering it, period. I like the fact that you'll watch it. You genuinely get some enjoyment out of it, it seems. And the best part about releasing a Sims video for me is seeing the response from people, or like getting all the lovely emails and comments and all of the things from people being like, dude, I've watched you since, you know, I was 8 years old. And I just like that people still watch, right? And the fact that it pays the bills. It's great. So there's that. You know, I've never been affiliated with EA or, you know, doing any kind of like signing up for that Game Changers thing that they had or any of these new programs they got going. I don't want to test it. I don't want to be part of anything. I just want to be like an unbiased voice, you know, a set of eyes looking in at this thing, this franchise and this series that I've enjoyed for 2.5 decades. And hopefully it provides some perspective that people find enjoyable or useful or both. And that still happens when I post these expansion reviews. So I don't necessarily want to stop doing that, but I don't know if I want to keep doing it in the same form of covering every one of them that comes out. Because dang it, there's another one already on the way. This Life and Death pack, it sounds like, possibly coming out the very end of October. They just had this Love Struck one, and now there's another expansion already on the way. It fries my brain when these things are close together, because it's like, you know, if there were like just one a year, that would be fine by me. So that's what I'm thinking. Do I just start doing a yearly wrap-up of Sims crap? You know, all right, it's the end of the year. Like, here's the Sims things that came out. But then it's not really what people come to me for, I don't think. I don't think y'all are looking for like wrap-ups of Sims news. Let me know if that interests you. If that would interest you more than seeing individual videos on the expansions. Like, just not an in-depth thing necessarily, but like 20 minutes of just, hey, here's the stuff that happened in this series over the past year. Was it worth it or was it not? You know, what did they change for the good? What did they change for the bad? And like, that would be the one Sims 4 video a year, or just continue doing these expansions and like suck it up because this is my job. That's kind of where I come down, to be honest. It's like, I think I should probably just continue for the time being and like see where this stuff goes. And, you know, if these new the AI features or the content kits or whatever else, you know, the engine updates, if any of that stuff proves to be interesting enough to cover on its own, maybe I'll cover that too. But I don't know. I'm just really happy, like, not talking about The Sims 4. I am the happiest when I'm not thinking about it, and that's sad, but it's the truth. And, you know, going back and revisiting the classics, you know, Sims 2 is still such a great game. My word, is it way more difficult than I remember, and, like, quirky and odd and complicated and just hard to play, honestly, but in a charming way. Or even The Sims Online. I've been wanting to cover, like, the TSO thing or whatever, the modern version you can play this. Or there's even a mod of this that lets you play the original Sims in like an updated graphical engine, kind of like a remaster of the original Sims. That's all the stuff that really just, it gets me going and happy and excited to cover a Sims thing, right? You know, these retrospectives or like a new fan project or whatever. I don't know. Maybe y'all just want to see me ramble about whatever the heck. And if that's the case, then stick around, because that's what I'm planning on doing. I've got a Sims 2 retrospective coming, and, you know, all kinds of other, like, just vintage stuff. I've got an entire shelf over there of old computers and games and hardware, peripherals, and versions of Windows and different OSs and things that I'm so excited to cover. I just got a new vintage console that I don't think has ever been used. I'm going to be doing that in November, experiencing one of those brand newish for the first time. That kind of stuff is not going anywhere, but at the same time, it seems like these Sims things are just going to be coming at an increasingly rapid pace, or changing in ways that I know people are going to be asking me about. And I just want to throw my hands up and be like, yeah, whatever. I kind of want to wash my hands of it, but I don't feel like it's time to just yet. Let me know your thoughts. I'm just kind of lost and frazzled and ready to cover new things, or old things, I suppose. New old things. And the competitors, you know, Inzoi and Paralives. I'm really genuinely excited to check those out. It's been a long time since a proper Sims competitor came along. And who knows how they'll be. I mean, you know, they might be complete disappointments, far more so than The Sims 4. And give us new appreciation for that. I don't know. Either way, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you getting this far in this video. We'll see what happens next. See ya.